Well, selling used items online is a great way to make some extra cash. Plus, upcycling clothes and other items helps offset some of the environmental damages caused by corporations.
Yeah, but this year a new tax law went into effect and it could impact anyone who sells items online. Mark Scribner, a private CFO with Oxygen Financial, joining us with details on the new rules and how to get prepared. Mark, nice to see you as always.
Great to see you.
So let's jump in first and talk about the new law. Explain that and why it was changed.
So I made actually a little prop for you guys. I don't know if you could see this, a K. This is a form that the IRS is now sending out. It's called a 1099-K, K for cash, if you will. So anything over $600 per year could trigger this 1099 form for millions of Americans across the country. And that could be a big boost for taxes and things like that. But these forms are coming out. You mentioned Venmo, but PayPal, eBay, basically all the online services that are sending out or doing goods and services are sending out these forms now.
Wow.
Okay, so Mark, who does this actually apply to?
Well, it's anything over 600. It's supposed to be for goods and services. So it's not supposed to catch people like if you were going to send money to a restaurant or a friend sharing a bill. It's supposed to capture goods and services. But there are a lot of stories about people getting caught up in that. And it could be a lot of people, but primarily goods and services, and that's $600 per calendar year.
I mean, I don't know that they're going to go after the $600 in a year, but what do you think they're going to reasonably go after? Because at some point, everyone's going to, hit that number. I would assume if they're in this industry.
Yeah, it's a great question. It really is only an issue if you get audited. You really have to have a receipt. So, just say, for example, you bought or sold a desk for $1,000, for example, but you paid $2,500 for it. It's only an issue if you get audited. You just have to keep your receipts for an indefinite period of time because if you do get audited, you're going to have to show what you paid for it, and it wasn't a profit.
Right, right.
Okay, so Mark, when January next year rolls around and people start receiving these forms, what should they actually do?
Well, I mean, I should match up the receipts and save those receipts just for the eventuality that there's an audit. But, there's a lot of great services that you can scan your receipts and save them and label them indefinitely. But it really isn't an issue unless you get audited. And there hasn't been a lot of talk about how much auditing is going to happen, but it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I have to imagine that. So let me ask you this. If the law applies to people who pay for items through the apps like Venmo and I guess Zelle, what's to stop them from just marking every transaction as friends and family to avoid getting that tax form? Because that seems like, you can pick it.
Right.
Friends.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, you can, but it's coming from the Venmos and the PayPals of the world. They're actually deciding it, so they can override that. If you do friends and family, but they code it something different, you can't go back and change it per se.
Got it.
So it's really at the level of the PayPals, the Venmos, the eBays that they're generating that form, and you don't really have a lot of recourse after that.
Yeah, wow, really good to know because money is flying all different ways, especially when it's so easy to do it,
January is just a couple months away. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right.